Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm gonna go over everything I use, everything I've learned to get no recoil in Apex Legends on controller. This is how to set up your controller the best for this game possible. This is literally everything I've learned after 4,000 hours, okay? We're gonna go over sensitivity. We're gonna go over the bleed through glitch that a lot of people are using right now. We're gonna go over response curve, dead zone, which is a really important one, stretch res, field of view, FPS, and even control freaks, alright? So all these things combined are going to give you zero recoil, alright? And they really help if you get everything dialed in perfect, and if you don't have everything dialed in, your aim can feel really off, alright? I've been there before, and right now I got everything locked in, and I'm going to show you guys what is up. Okay, so in Apex, the controller settings are super glitchy. So one thing that we figured out is these sensitivities in your ALC per optics are going to bleed through into your regular sense if these are left on. So you leave these on, go back, you turn off your ALCs. That sense is going to multiply with this sense. So I'm playing 6-1. So 1 times 3.7 is 3.7. So I'm playing 3.7. Okay, so you're probably wondering, Shanks, why can't I just use ALC settings? Why do I gotta use this weird glitch? Well, I personally think that the ALC settings are just not optimized as well compared to the regular settings. My aim just doesn't feel nearly as consistent. And I switched over to the regular settings, and I honestly found my aim got way better. But the only issue is you lose that fine tune for your look sense. So that's why I use the bleed through. So now I can get it at a 3.7, because I find 3 is just a little bit too slow for those close engagements, and 4 is just a little fast. So I leave it at 1 and use that bleed through glitch, and I get a 3.7, which I find is just the perfect sense for me. Okay, the next setting's super important. You need to be running linear response curve. It's gonna make controlling recoil way easier. You're gonna have to pull down on the stick way less. On top of that, it's gonna make your aim a lot more consistent, and it's gonna make it so you can make fine-tuned micro adjustments when you're tracking. So you need to run linear, and when you combine it with the rest of my settings, you're gonna get the most consistent aim possible. Okay, so one of the most important overlooked settings is your dead zone. And if you're a PC controller, you really want to be taking advantage of setting a custom dead zone in Steam. And if you're on console, you're going to want to find a custom controller that has a software that you can download that allows you to change the dead zones. Okay, so if you're a PC controller, I'm going to show you how to set up a custom dead zone through Steam. And I'm going to show you how to find the most optimal dead zone for your controller. Okay, so open up Steam with your controller plugged in, hit this little controller icon. If it's not there, go up to settings, controller, enable the Steam input. You got Xbox, PlayStation there. Alright, hit this, open up edit layout, go to joysticks, right joystick is the one you want. Hit this unit, come down here, dead zone. You're going to go custom, obviously. Put this right one to 100, and this left one here is going to be how you're controlling your dead zone. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, so the whole goal with setting your dead zone is getting your controller to stick drift the perfect amount. So basically, you're going to start off at 0
Every decision counts.
and put up the dead zone one by one until your controller has the tiniest little bit of stick drift. And if you have to go up past 5, then that's when I recommend you get a new controller, because you're going to lose that finite adjustment. And that's when controlling recoil and making micro adjustments just becomes a lot harder, and the game will start feeling more sloppy. So you start off on 0, and you want to make it so you have the tiniest little bit of stick drift. And as soon as you have to go over 5, maybe 6, that's when I recommend you get a new controller. So right now I'm on 4, and I have the tiniest little bit of stick drift, and it's perfect for me. In a couple months, I'll probably have to go up to 5, and then another month after that, I'll probably have to get a new controller. Alright, so that's how you set the perfect dead zone, and that's how you know
Upgrades ready.
when
Time
you
to
need to
make
get
a
a new
choice.
controller. Okay, so next thing are the video settings. So my resolution, I run 1680 by 1050 stretch res. The game automatically stretches it for you if you run this res. And I run this so the enemies are wider and it makes them easier to track. Okay? So next thing is field of view. So the higher your FOV is, the less visual recoil your guns are gonna have. They're gonna still have the same amount of recoil, but visually on a higher FOV, it's gonna look like less recoil. Okay, so I recommend running 110 FOV. On PC, you can actually go up to 120 through the files. So I actually run 120 on PC, and it's gonna give you even less visual recoil. Okay,
every decision counts.
Okay, so the next thing is your video settings, and the goal with your video settings is you basically want them as low as they can possibly go, so you aren't getting any FPS drops. All right, so depending on what your computer is, you're gonna have them set for that, but basically you don't want any FPS drops, because when you get into a fight and your FPS drops 60 frames and you're used to practicing at 165 in the firing range, and now all of a sudden you're at 100, your aim is gonna feel off, I promise you. So if you want to get consistent aim, you need to get consistent frames. All right, there you go. There's the frickin' secret formula. Okay, so last thing, I do recommend running a control freak on your right stick. You can run one on your left stick too if you want. It will make your movement a little slower, but I recommend running the lowest control freak they got, the Omni, and basically I just use it so you have a nice grippy thumbstick and your thumb's not going to be slipping off when you're trying to clutch up a 1v3 in an intense ass moment, because it can happen and it can ruin a clip. So I do run thumbsticks for that reason. Okay everyone, that is the secret sauce. That is the Krabby Patty formula for getting no recoil. That is how you get Cronus Zen accusations. That is everything I know. Alright, so you put all those steps together, you get your shit frickin' dialed in. I promise you, you will be fricking beaming. Alright.